I remember an episode of ER where one of the patients was trying to explain how he had been assaulted while trying to provoke someone into hitting him so that he could measure their response time as part of a sociological study that he was doing. Around the same time, I had a professor who had in his office two very dissimilar chairs, and myself and the other grad students spent the better part of the semester debating whether or not he was doing some kind of study on us to see which type of student chose to sit in which chair. Because one chair was very uncomfortable to sit in, but allowed you to sit at the same eye level as him, while the other chair, while more comfortable to sit in, was very low to the ground, and so you're always left with this foreboding sense that he was glaring down upon you. After some time, we finally broke down, and I agreed to go and ask him whether or not there was some kind of secret experiment being conducted. He reassured me that there was no secret experiment, that he just needed another chair for his office and had found one out in the hallway. To this day, I'm not entirely sure whether or not he was being entirely truthful with me, but at that point I started to realize that in life there is almost nothing that is ever entirely as it appears to be. But why do I do that? Maybe I have ADD. My videos are very rambling and annoying, and yes, they are. So we all need to learn to stop and think critically about everything that we see and hear. And I think that this is one of the things for which Web 2.0 technology may ultimately prove to be useful. It is also one of the points in which I disagree with some of the Web 2.0 naysayers like Andrew Keen, who suggest that services like YouTube are undermining, if not outright destroying, modern media, whose content, he argues, is superior to the abundance of crap that is found on the Internet. And while I don't disagree that there's an abundance of crap on the Internet, I'm not entirely convinced of his assertion that the content delivered by modern media, because it is gathered by professional journalists and edited by professional editors, and then delivered in a professional format, is superior to any of the content that could be found online. Because online content is gathered by people with a variety of perspectives, and it is up to the user to parse through it all to decide what it is that they are going to believe or not believe. And therefore I suggest that modern media is not actually teaching people how to think, but telling people what to think, whereas YouTube and other Web 2.0 technology has a greater chance, albeit perhaps only slight, but still a greater chance of actually teaching people how to think critically. So at this point in time, I'm going to suggest that I'm going to put my faith in the emerging Web 2.0 technology when it comes to encouraging people to think critically about the world around them and how they fit into it, and suggest that we all need to have serious doubts about the material that is delivered to us through the modern incarnation of the media. And I'd like to thank Andrew Harvey at voteandrewharvey.com. I'll put a link in the sidebar for the shirt that I'm wearing for this video, which actually suggests exactly that. Why should we necessarily trust MTV or newspapers or magazines over anything that we might be able to find online? So all I ask is that we all stop and think about the things that we're seeing, the things that we're hearing, including my own videos. Have a good day.